Welcome to Dad Bods, Crab Cakes, and Sports, where husky middle-aged men share insight on the latest Baltimore sports news. From the bank to the yard and beyond, we're breaking down the Ravens, Orioles, Terps, and more. Baltimore's best sports podcast starts right now.
Happy Saturday evening, everyone. Late night version of Dad Bods, Crab Cakes, and Sports. Jason, John, and Mike here to entertain you for the next 45 minutes to an hour. We'll see if we can actually keep it to an hour and not bore you guys for too long. But yeah, what's going on with you guys, Mike? Anything new in your life this week?
I mean, the usual in the summertime. I started. I told you guys I started a new job, kind of. So I had to work in the summer a little bit now, but not full time. So that's good. But I got to play some golf today, and I love playing golf. Golf didn't love me back, meaning it wasn't the greatest round I've ever had in my life. But a bad day on the golf course is a great day.
I mean, every day on the golf course, it never loves me back, Mike. It doesn't love me front either. Like it's terrible, a terrible time. Before I introduce John here, guys, listen, Mike, how long was the World Cup on for? 2 months, right? Just about
Oh
one
yeah.
and a half, 2 months.
hmm
Great. Couldn't get John to focus or talk about soccer at all. But what comes across our text yesterday? All of a sudden, some dude in baseball ruptures a testicle. And John gets so excited. He's like, I'm in, sign me up. But I can't get him to talk about soccer, Mike. But John wants to talk about man nuts. John, would you
Yeah.
like to, I mean, defend yourself?
Well, I
Explain,
I
maybe?
I was always raised, and again, I played catcher, so you always wore a cup. But it, I don't understand why these big leaguers don't wear a cup. Like it's like common sense. Like Carl Crawford a number of years ago took, I think it was Big Poppy's foot and ruptured one of his testicles diving back into first base. So this guy fouls the ball not off the ground, directly off his family jewels. And I'm thinking, man, you're a big league player. Why do you not have a cup on?
I mean, ironically enough, I believe all three of us came up as catchers at one point. Probably because no one else was dumb enough to do it, and it was like a guaranteed spot to never get taken out. Like you're always guaranteed to do it. So it's like my father talked me into it as a young age. I always wore a cup, and even when I got to high school, when I played the outfield and everything, and I never knew when I was going to get put in the infield and different things, I wore a cup because I'll tell you when you're charging a ball in the outfield, especially on the outfield I played on, like it was like little potholes here and there. So you never knew when you were going to catch one in the Ghiblies there, Mike.
I mean, I don't understand why you wouldn't. You're putting yourself at a high risk. I always wore one as well. I wasn't a catcher because of all those. I was just a chunky little guy. They were like, "Hey, put that guy behind home plate." But they call it the tools. They call catcher's gear the tools of ignorance for a reason, because you kind of have to have no regard for your own body. But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't protect it in some way.
Yeah, I always liked it. I mean, catching was always like you. I mean, I guess everyone says it, but like you're involved in every play of every game, just about, right? So, I mean, I get it. It wears on you though over time. But yeah, I mean, back to the moral of this whole thing. I'm just shocked, Mike, of how quick, like all of a sudden, John, I have some questions because it's like we talked about soccer for months. All of a sudden, man Joel's come up, and you're like, woohoo! I mean, Mike, what do you think's happening here?
It's balls. It's all types of balls. We talk about on this show. John can't get on board with the soccer ball, so he was trying to find a different ball, I think, to talk about.
All right, John. Well, I've actually talked about this subject a lot longer than I had wanted to, but I will let you have the final word on this whole shenanigans.
I just thought it was a funny video. I don't really care that the guy ruptured his testicles or something. It's just, it's like what do you do to cheer up a kid? You fall down and hurt yourself or something. And I think it just kind of rotates into us as adults that we still enjoy just seeing other people in their pain and suffering because it wasn't us, and we know we can imagine how badly that hurts. So
Yeah, I
that's
mean,
kind of what it was.
funny it was not. I can tell you that. Funny it was not. I feel it. I feel the pain. All right. Well, we digress here as we are going down this rabbit hole of fun. Okay, so Baltimore Orioles tonight. I guess they rebounded from a very tough loss last evening to the Braves in extras. The bullpen, which has been pretty solid, guys, over the year, it's just kind of faltered a little bit um, when it counted last night, and then again tonight. Kind of tonight they won 3-2 with a walk-off Dylan Beavers single to the right side after Jackson Holiday had a really good at bat and a double, I guess off the glove of was it Dubon, who's a two-time Gold Glover, I think too, who made up. It was a nice diving play and it just bounced out of his glove. I mean, Mike, to me, it just keeps going back to the same thing we talked that they do fight back and forth here, but the one thing I keep coming back to is they seem to be a consistently inconsistent team.
Yeah, I mean, it hops up in different kind of ways. The starting pitching, though, you say everything's pretty inconsistent. The starting pitching has been really good, and I'm thinking for the better part of 2 months now. And so I think the one thing when you talk about the bullpen kind of faltering, yeah, I get it, but the bullpen isn't letting up tons of runs. We're just not scoring any runs. Like
Right.
the starting pitching is letting up 1 run, 0 runs, 2 runs, and we're only having a 2 run lead going into the late innings. I mean, whatever happened to putting up 5 runs and maybe having a 4 run lead, and the bullpen has a little breathing room to let up a run or two in lower leverage situations. Obviously, if our starters are getting through 6 or 7 innings, it's automatically high leverage at the back end, especially when you only have a 1 run lead. So I think that's a part of the game that kind of gets overlooked. That the offense, yeah, they're there, they're doing barely enough, but not a ton.
And I was very clear the last couple shows that they still need to add a pretty significant offensive piece. But now with both Basayo and Rutschman going down, who arguably are two of your top 5 hitters on your team, if not top 3 hitters on your team, and yet you're still competing and winning ball games. I mean, the Braves aren't too shabby. And towards the end of that Boston series, the Red Sox pretty legit. So for me, it's if they're able to compete, like it also reminds me, and John, then I'll tune into you here, but it reminds me of 2014 when we won the division, but then by the end of the year going into the playoffs, there was no Machado, no Chris Davis. Who else am I missing? Oh my gosh, Steve Pierce was starting every game. Like it just wasn't the same team there. And if they don't get these two guys back, it doesn't matter what they add. I mean, Sam Huff, Aubrey Huff, Huff and Automotive tire guy that lives whoever the Huff is, it ain't gonna work. Okay, so I mean, and throwing out who played again today, the former Brave, Chadwick Trump.
Trump.
So it's to me, it's pretty impressive, and it is. I would say it is because of the starting pitching, Mike. And I was thinking tonight, and we can get into this after this, but um, Bradish, Rogers, Boz, Young sounds like a pretty good 4 for me if they can keep up this. What's been going? I mean, the last 7 games, I think that Rogers pitched, he's let 2 or less runs in as a starter. So to me, I think you might want to go ahead and address that situation because all the other guys are coming back. So why are we worrying about bringing guys from outside when you have a guy here? But I've said this time and time again. John, your thoughts so far on the Birds?
So as I was watching the game today, how Holiday and Ben McDonald said it on the broadcast. Guys who keep ripping Holiday have to remember he's only 3 years removed from high school. He's only technically a college senior, and that at bat tonight, where I, as a having faced guys who've thrown that hard and kind of knowing what's coming, they were talking about making it easier that you're guessing fastball, and if you get the splitter, then you got to figure out what to do. But Holiday just had a solid big league at bat, and I'm hoping that as he gets more solid at bats like this, that he'll just continue to move up, to continue to improve. But Beavers at the top of the lineup has got on base what 5 out of 8 times since he's hit leadoff or some crazy number like that. And he just guessed fastball tonight, got the hands in, got just enough of the ball past the second baseman, and that's how we got to win ball games. But that starting pitching, if we can keep up the starting pitching and bring in another outfield bat that's going to help energize the offense, it's going to be scary.
Yeah, Mike's going to have a game for us here shortly where we can talk more about additions and trades and ideas. But to me, if Mike, to me, it's glaring. An impact bat. But see, now I'm kind of impact bat, yes, but defensive upgrades, whether they're like guys that can play multiple positions, guys that are defensive first. I mean, you're gonna need to plug some guys in. We don't have. I mean, right now, Encarnacion Strand is a blessing. I mean, this is a great find. It's like, to me, Mike, it's Ryan O'Hearn 2.0 almost. It's a nice addition. However, I don't know if that is your. I mean, he's made all his plays over at third base so far. So you need some outfield depth. There's a lot of pieces, I think. So if they do add, I don't think, Mike, it's just one move. I think it's bullpen help, it's impact bat, it's multiple position players to come off the bench.
Well, what do you guys think? I mean, at this point, they're 2.5 games out of the last wild card spot. They're bunched with, let's see, you've got, Boston has the wild card in Cleveland, and then you've got Minnesota at 52 and 54, Houston at 52 and 54, Seattle at 51 and 54, Baltimore at 51 and 54, and Detroit. So you're really at 50 and 55. You have all those teams just stacked in that little space just below where the wild card is. So it's really hard to tell who's going to buy and who's going to sell. And I think that's what Major League Baseball wanted when they added this extra wild card spot. So they're getting what they want, which is people holding on to players longer and pushing that trade deadline back also makes that a little bit more interesting. But I'm curious what you guys think. If you are 2.5, let's say we maintain, right, and we're at 2.5 games back at the trade deadline, what do we do?
John, you want to go first?
Yeah,
Buyers, sellers. What do you think?
I think we're buying. I agree with Connor's kind of saying that we need a left-handed bullpen arm. That's probably something we need to bring in. So I think if we're 2 games out, I think we go out and we're going to try to find a bullpen arm of some sort, and then a couple defensive upgrades, because that's what we've been talking about is we're missing Westberg's defense at third base, and then we're missing a corner out or a solid center fielder. But I think if we're 2 games out, I think they're gonna try to. I don't think we're gonna move any big pieces. We've seen the Adley to the Padres, Adley to the Mets, Adley. What was the other? There's one more team, but I don't think we're gonna see anything like that. But I think we're gonna do enough to bring in a solid left-handed pitcher and a solid outfielder or a solid bat to round us out.
Adley to the Mets doesn't make any sense to me because the Mets are going to be sellers. And then Adley would only have one more year of control. So unless they're going to flip him at the end of next year, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me to sell Adley regardless. It just doesn't. Like, that's not the piece that I'm thinking. I don't think you get any better in any way by getting rid of Adley, especially because your other catcher now is out with a shoulder injury. And I'm not sure what that is. Like, the one thing I keep coming back to, Mike, there was that play at the plate in Boston where Tyler O'Neill threw the guy out at the plate, the little flippy, or not Boston, Houston. And he like put his arm down at the plate when he was falling. He caught it, was falling towards the player, and put all of his weight down on his one arm. And I'm just wondering if he strained something in his shoulder. Like, I don't want to speculate, but that's the only thing I can keep coming back to. So I don't know if it's a long-term thing. I don't think that should make it. My answer to your question is the same thing I said last year: buyers and sellers. If they're not going to sign Taylor Ward and you can get something else out there to but still compete, then you do it. But you if you're not going to bring in an impact bat, you then have to bring in two guys. Like, and I don't know what that looks like. So if you're not going to sign Rodgers, I guess you sell him because these could bring you a lot back, especially a Rodgers. So if you let him walk and you take that damn compensation pick, and that's what you're going to do, and we're going to kick the can down the road again, like shame on them. So either make your decision, sign him and go. But what else is going to bring stuff back? The young guys. You're going to get rid of Kobe Mayo, which is fine if that's what you're going to do. If you're going to get rid of Jackson Holiday, don't think you necessarily should. But if you want somebody now, you might have to give him up. So, Mike, my answer is yes to buying, but also yes to selling.
Yeah, I think that's probably the right answer. I just 2 points I'd have. Number one, Adley. I think the best value you get from Adley is within the AL East. I mean, that's where there's a need for catcher, and I don't think they're gonna. I don't think they're gonna trade within the division. I don't think it makes any sense. The second, yes, they should maybe be buyers and sellers, Jason. Trevor Rogers could bring back a haul. Taylor Ward could probably get you something decent back. I don't think Mike Elias can afford to be a seller. I just don't think he can. I think his job depends on us seeing a trajectory upward. And the only way that I think that you can be a seller is if you're also a buyer. Because if you're selling Taylor Ward and you're getting prospects, then turn around and trade those prospects and get somebody under team control for the next couple of years, or vice versa. Grab somebody that has some team control, lose some prospects, and then go ahead and trade one of those guys to get some prospects back to refill. But I don't think that you can just sell. I think that is a problem. But I would say if you're not in on being a buyer for this season, then look to be a buyer for some guys with some long-term control. And that way we can at least see that you're trying to push the team forward, because optics have a lot to do with this right now for Mike Elias. It's not just what he thinks is the best baseball decision, because his job is at play. So I think there's more to it than just that, Jason.
Well, look what they did last year when they sold all those guys off. How many of those guys that they got last year are on this roster this year? I can think of one, two maybe. Did Rico Garcia come back in a
Enrico
trade?
Garcia
And Nunez from the Mets? That's it. That's it. Okay, that's fine. But if you're going to, yes, you refilled your farm system. Maybe that you're only 2 games out, and I don't care who you have to jump over. When you were saying all these teams, I was thinking to in my head the teams that I thought at the beginning of the year would be players this year. I still think the Mariners are going to have something to say about that division before the year's over. I do not think. I think the Twins will eventually fall back. I don't think that organization is going to be buyers either, because they have new ownership and they want to cut costs. I think the Tigers might have something to say, but they may not want to hold the bag on Scooble and just like sit there and be like, okay, they might. And as soon as they make that deal, that's it. They're done. Like, it's going to take the wind out of their sails. It's going to do a bunch of stuff. I think Cleveland will be buyers. I think they're going to win that division. I think Chicago will take a step back. So who else did you say was above them? There was a couple.
Houston is right in there.
Houston, I think, is going to. I was not high on Houston this year, and I think they're going to show their colors and come back down a little bit too. You could see. I mean, we swept them, and I was not impressed. So I think they're right there, and it'll take a couple savvy moves for them to do that. So, I mean, okay. Anybody else have anything on this? Because then we're going to play Mike's fun new game. Mike, you want to tell everyone about your fun game? Oh, John, look, copyright infringement. This is awesome.
I actually did that. I actually infringed. It was me. I was the infringer.
I infringed.
The elder statesman figured out how to use it, Mike. Bravo. Good job.
It's not even the first time I've infringed with Howie Mandel's Deal or No Deal, because thanks, John.
Oh my gosh, John.
That was a lot of applause. I'll be here all week. No, I did the I did the deal or no deal with my phys ed classes. So like I would take I would make all the soup briefcases into like laminated cards, and I'd put an exercise under them, and I put a whole bunch of Jeopardy board out, and the kids would pick, and either they do that exercise. If they didn't like it, they'd have to take the other one, and then it could be better or worse. So I've infringed upon deal or no deal before, but this is a little different version of deal or no deal. I'm going to give you guys a proposed Orioles trade, and I want you guys to tell me if you would do the deal, or you would pass on that deal, and I want you to give me some type of rationale behind your decision. Make sense?
John, would you like to go first or second?
Sure. I'll go
Okay.
first.
Sure.
I'll go first.
That's great.
All right.
Yeah.
All
Absolutely.
right, John. First deal. Tariq Skubal from the Tigers. Okay. And the trade proposal would be Kobe Mayo, Chase McDermott, Trey Gibson, and Enrique Bradfield Jr. Would you do the deal? And obviously, if you think about control, he is a free agent, obviously, after this season, Skubal. And then his salary right now is about $32 million.
Well, considering there's no salary cap, the salary doesn't really matter that much. But that's a tough one. That's a tough one because come September and October, a guy like Mayo who hits the crap out of lefties is very, very valuable. And Bradfield may be somewhat of an answer to our defensive woes in center field. So I'm going to pass on this. If this had been last year with the way our starting pitching was, I would say deal 100%. But the way that our starting pitching is right now, and again, we have a week left, could have injuries, something could come up between now and the trade deadline in a week. But I'm going to say no deal because I think that the pinch hitting bat of Mayo and then Bradfield, I for a 2-month rental that we don't necessarily need isn't worth it.
All right, Jason, you're up.
Yeah, I mean, what time does Skubal get picked up from the airport? Because I could probably get there for him and pick him up. Yeah, what the heck? You're giving up one major leaguer. Like Enrique Bradfield might be a fourth outfielder. Oh, I'm sorry, I have not seen anything. Chase McDermott, and I mean Gibson, sure, maybe, but nope. I would do it in a heartbeat. I don't think the Tigers would. Jason would. And Jason would drive him to the airport or pick him up, whatever you need me to do.
Beautiful. All right. Mason Miller, lefty stud, closer for the San Diego Fathers. He would be dealt for, and here's the options for the deal: Dylan Beavers or Kobe Mayo, Creed Willems, and Nestor Herman.
You may go
Jason,
first, John.
Yeah, Jason, let's switch the order up. You go first this time.
Yeah, I mean, I would do it a heartbeat. Is this going to be bad if I say that I'd rather hold on to Dylan Beavers at this point? I've seen enough of a sub 200 average guy that hits lefties. That's terrific. Guess what? You face righties a lot more than you face lefties. Yeah, I mean, in a heartbeat for unproven guys. Who was the other guy besides Herman? Who was the middle
Willems,
guy?
The catcher.
Oh,
Creed
yeah,
Willems.
in a heartbeat. I mean, I thought Creed Williams was one of those guys that was like up in the air whether they were going to keep him protected in the Rule 5. But no, I would do it in a heartbeat. Miller's again, but with both of these guys, I mean, Skubal's already had Tommy John, I believe. But Mason Miller, I mean, at any time that arm could come flying off with the ball. But I think I'd be willing to take that chance. That's a generational type arm. And they talked about making him a starter at one point. So maybe that's something in mind.
Interesting, Jason. Interesting. And John, just so you know, he's arbitration eligible, obviously, but he's signed through 2029. So he's not a 1-year rental. What is your thoughts on it?
I would have to agree with agree with Jason. I would do that in a heartbeat, but I would keep Beavers though. I would. I think the way that he's beginning to hit out of that leadoff slot, that could be the place for him. And if he continues to do that, you know, very valuable piece.
All right, this name has been batted about. Reed Detmers from the Angels, controllable starter. Um, you know, the deal I have on the table for Reed is Nate George, Trey Gibson, and Colton Cowser. Now, keep in mind that he is arbitration eligible this year, and he's signed through 2028. Detmers, so you're getting him for a couple years. John, you're starting on this one.
I that's I don't think we need starting pitching. I mean, granted he's a lefty, so you put him in there, and you could go righty lefty, righty left. I mean, in the starting rotation, whatever. I mean, his his stats aren't like, blowing you off the screen. 3-7 with a 4.05 ERA, 136 strikeouts, which is eighth in the league, and 1.10 WHIP. So and you said Cowser's in this deal?
Yes, George Gibson and Cowser. I mean, is it something, John, where if you trade a Rogers away and then maybe you
Yes.
backfill a spot like this?
Yes. I could see backfilling a slot, but with what you have right now, if we're keeping the roster as it is today, there's not a need. There's not a need to give up, three guys for a guy who's below league average in most starting statistics there.
All right, Jason, you challenging John, or are you with him on this one?
So what did you say, John? No,
I
no,
said
because we don't need a pitcher, or no, because you don't like Reed Detmers.
both. Both.
So,
I
in
mean, he's a
my
below
opinion,
average starter based on the statistics. He's below average.
his slider is elite, nasty. However, that is where it ends for me. Um, Out of the three pitchers, Mike, he is by far the worst, and this is by far the most you would be giving up. Based on that, no deal. Absolutely not. Reed Detmers is, um, if the Orioles would identify him as somebody that they could work with and they'd have control, I would be fine with it. But no one in their right mind is giving up one of the top prospects on the team, and a major league player. And who was the pitcher? Trey Gibson,
Mhm.
who might be a better pitcher already, like stuff wise, than Detmers. No thanks, no deal.
Yeah, so part of this exercise too is I wasn't trying to make the deal particularly balanced. I wanted you guys to talk about some of the prospects in the system, as well as the value of those prospects weighed against other players on other teams. So they're kind of, and I also try to do a variety of prospects too, so you could talk about more people. But that makes a ton of sense, Jason. And for me, I'm with you. I know no deal on that one. This one's interesting. It's a little bit of a different spin. Eugenio Suarez from the Reds and Caleb Ferguson in a package deal. Caleb Ferguson, a lefty reliever. And then you would be giving up as an Oriole, Kobe Mayo. Would you consider a trade for a veteran power bat at third base who has maybe some fielding issues, uh, and try to solidify the left side of your infield?
I think that was a 1 year deal, right, for Suarez,
So they have a
to go
mutual
back.
option. I think they have a mutual option. I think for next year, but right now it's a one year deal.
I mean, really think about it for 1 year or two, and if Westbrook comes back, they may not pick up the option. So basically, you're shipping Mayo off. And I mean, Suarez was hurt earlier in the year. Oh no, I don't think so. No deal for me. I um I think you can find relief help by giving up prospects without having to give up major league startable guys. Now, if you would have said somebody like that would have came back, um, I don't know, somebody that would be more impactful. Now, Suarez is good, but he's hitting now in Cincinnati, which is like a tiny little ballpark, and left field here isn't so tiny. So no deal for me.
And he's 35 years old, just to
That'll
mention
also do it for you.
that. John, what's your thought?
I was gonna say basically the same thing, that you're giving up a Kobe Mayo, who's, you could still get something out of him, and he's only what, 25, 26, for a 35-year-old 2-month rental. I don't think you're doing that. I'm gonna say no deal.
All right, so this one's probably a little bit more far fetched, just because Cleveland is still pretty heavily in the race. But I love Stephen Kwan, so I threw him in there. Stephen Kwan from the Guardians obviously would help with the leadoff. He would help with your outfield defense. He would shore up, two weaknesses there that we have as the Baltimore Oriole team in 2026. My proposed trade is Dylan Beavers and Levi Wells for Stephen Kwan. And the reason I put Levi Wells in is because he's a good young pitcher, and I think Cleveland really values young pitching. So, John, I think we're starting with you on this one. Would you swing that deal?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think that our biggest hole now, outside of a little bit of bullpen help, is that outfield. So bringing in a guy like Stephen Kwan, who can, although his statistics are down this year, he's only hitting 248 with 1 home run, 18 RBIs, and a 658 OPS. He's only 28. He's he's able to play good defense in center field, and I think that would be a good deal. I'll say deal.
Deal from John. I love it. We got a deal. He's signed through 2027, Jason. What is your thought on Stephen Kwan? That gives you an extra year beyond this year.
I'm a fan of Stephen Kwan. Solid outfielder. Steals a few bases. Not so much this year, though. Like John said, I mean, stats are way down this year. No one can kind of figure out why. But he has been a very consistent force there in Cleveland. I would have done this deal if you would have stopped after Dylan Beavers, or if you would have added someone other than Levi Wells. I am very high on Levi Wells, and I think that is too much for, at this point, a potential question mark, because no one can figure out why all of a sudden his stats, and they've dropped significantly. This is like a two. John, you might have his stats there, but I think he's like a 270 or 280 career hitter. He's betting 242. Like, that's a hell of a drop off. So for me, that's very concerning. And he's a Gold Glove level talent too. But I would have stopped at Dylan Beavers, and I would have said yes, but not both of them.
So here's Kwan's stats. He's a career 277 hitter, with the 352 on base percentage,
How many
and
stolen bases?
averages 16 a year. This year he only has 7.
Because he can't get on
Um,
base.
right. And where's the strikeouts on this Sting thing?
And
Strikeouts 38. He doesn't strike out a ton.
attractive player, Mike. I don't know what Cleveland is thinking, though, kind of what you said. He reminds me of Dylan Beavers. If Dylan Beavers can be Stephen Kwan, I think we'll all be very happy here.
Here's the thing about
Maybe-
Stephen Kwan, Jason. In the playoffs,
Oh my God,
he
stop it.
in the playoffs,
In this small mirror or small window
in
of
20
opportunity.
games, 20
Playoffs?
games, 20 games, 84 at bats, he's hitting 321.
I mean, and again, okay, so even 321, it's what is that? 50 points above what he normally bats, just about. So he elevates his game for the playoffs. That's great, but you're not going to ever just take a guy because of his postseason stats. I do think he will rebound as long as it sounds like there's a health issue, but he started off slow. So no deal, Mike. No deal.
I'm doing that. I'm doing the Quan deal. I think the numbers speak for themselves. You're only talking 25 points off his average, his usual average, and I just think the track record speaks for itself. And I get the Levi Wells hesitation. I understand that. I think he is going to be a good pitcher, but you sign 3 guys. You've got them in your rotation moving forward, and there's the potential you sign Trevor Rogers. I mean, there's 4 guys. You don't need all those other guys. You got Trey Gibson. You've got Chase McDermott. You've got a bunch of guys down there that are kind of younger. Jerwa. You got a bunch of guys down there that could come up and fill some that back end if you're only filling one or two. So to me, Quan is the type of guy they're missing in this lineup that could really change the game for the Orioles. So I would do that one. I think we have time for at least one or two more. Luis Arias. I love that guy. You know that. I might have said his name on every show. Trade. We get Luis Arias from the Giants, second baseman. You give away Vance Honeycutt or Enrique Bradfield and Keeler Morphe. Tell me how to say that, Jason.
Keeler Morphe.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, so that's a tough one. I like Morphe a lot. However, if you can get, so I actually think that Arias is more of an impact than Stephen Kwan at this point, especially for if you're just going for 1 year, right? The Honeycutt to me is nothing. It's like that's fine. Okay. I'm not a huge Bradfield guy other than I like him better than Honeycutt. He's closer to the majors than Honeycutt. Honeycutt's to me is Kobe Mayo. Okay, except he plays outfield. Swings and misses a lot, hits the ball over the fence. Morphe is a intriguing talent. But I would do that deal. I would do that deal, even though it's a 1 year rental. And you know what? You kind of do it and you don't look back. It's like when you're playing poker and you fold, you don't ask the dealer to flip the card back over. You fold it, it's time to move on with your life. Like it's
never
like
do that.
I mean, we when we traded for Andrew Miller, and I wanted them to sign him so bad, and they didn't, and they gave up Rodriguez to Boston. And I mean, he's had a very solid career, and it's been hard to not look at it. But you know what? If you have a chance to go for it, and you can get a player like that who they probably should have signed in the offseason, and I think they should have signed him, and I have a feeling they may go after him. Just a weird feeling. I have nothing to back that up. I would do it like deal.
Deal from Jason. John, Arias and Oriole, yes or no?
I think so. I think that you're not giving up any big league talent, any guys on the current big league roster. You have a 20-year-old who's a Delmarva, and that's a lot of time between Delmarva and the big leagues. To get a pretty steady defensive second baseman at the big leagues, I would do it 100%.
All right, Joe Ryan, pitcher, Minnesota Twins. We don't know if they're buyers or sellers, Jason. We talked about that already. You seem to think maybe with new ownership that they're not going to be buying. If they are selling and selling Joe Ryan in a high spot, Kobe Mayo and Brandon Young for Joe Ryan. Kobe Mayo and Brandon Young. So basically, Brandon Young, he's at a 3.18, I think, right now, ERA for the season. Good young pitcher with team control. I think you're going to have to give up somebody like that to get back a Joe Ryan caliber player. John, we'll start with you. What do you think? Joe Ryan for Brandon Young and Kobe Mayo.
No, Joe Ryan just missed his last start with an arm injury of some sort. So I'm going to say absolutely not.
Well, he also had an arm injury earlier this year, but let's say healthy. Let's say he's healthy.
How many years of team control did you say he had?
So Joe Ryan is arbitration eligible in 27 and signed through 28.
So we get 2.5 years out of him. And Brandon Young is arbitration eligible, he said, in 31.
I didn't look that one up, but he's under control for a while.
I would do the deal. I think you get 2 years out of a high quality starter like that who's already in the league if he doesn't have arm problems. But I mean, like I said, he skipped his last start with an arm problem. So if it's coming up with a trade deadline next week, that's a no-go. But if he was healthy without any arm questions, I think that's a deal you do.
I'm pretty
Jason?
sure his last start he gave up 6 home runs. You may want to check me on that, John, but I'm pretty sure. And then he has arm issues, and he had arm issues earlier in the year. Not opposed to the player. opposed to giving up what we're giving up. Tell me again who we're giving up besides Brandon Young. Who was the other one? Mayo.
Kobe Mayo and Brandon Young.
Um, at the beginning of the year, I would have driven them all to the airport. I would have waited after I dropped the other two off for him to come, and then I would have taken him back too. At this point, I'm not doing that. I think Brandon Young, he has been the Orioles' most consistent pitcher this year by far. It's not even a question. Bradish started slow and whatnot, but consistency has been Brandon Young. And he had so many signs that he showed last year. Would he have an immaculate inning? He almost pitched a perfect game. Like I'm okay with not doing that deal. So no deal for me.
All right. Last one. Deal or no deal? Carlos Correa, Houston Astros. Let's say the Astros fall back and decide to sell. He has a big old contract, but let's say they eat some of the cost of that contract and they swing a deal, Carlos Correa, for Kobe Mayo, Enrique Bradfield Jr., and Trey Gibson. Would you do the deal? John, let's start with you again.
Is he healthy?
Jason's working on his microphone. Let's say Correa is healthy, yes.
Because he's currently on the 60-day IL.
Yeah, if healthy.
If healthy, I think so. I think you can plug him into third base, and I think you'll get good production both defensively and offensively out of him, and I think that's not too much to give up. A guy who can't hit right-handed hitters and a guy who's stuck at AAA.
Well, John, the other thing is, regardless of his health currently, like I said, it might be a deal for like beyond this year if he's under team control for a few more years. I mean, Correa is signed through 2028. So
yeah, absolutely.
But his contract is $33 million though. So obviously you would want the Astros to eat some part of that deal, or that money, I would say. Jason, any thoughts on that one?
If you could get him to move to third too, if you could,
yeah, that would be my thought process too.
Right. You'd have to move to third.
Tell me again what the deal was. My microphone was being weird.
No worries. It is Kobe Mayo. You're getting rid of Kobe. He's been in a lot of my trades. That's weird. It's almost like I'm trying to get rid of him. Enrique Bradfield Jr. and Trey Gibson.
For Carlos Correa?
Yes.
And he's signed till when?
He's signed through, let's see, 28.
Okay, well, let's everybody remember that there's a good chance there will be no 2027 season.
Correct.
Okay. Absolutely not. He tore his Achilles tendon. He is out for this year, and there's a good chance we won't play baseball. He's got to be, how old is he? 30 something? Like, and then you want the 30-year-old
close to 30.
No.
31.
31. No, yeah, I know he's close to 30.
I'm good without Carlos Correa. I think Jordan Westburg will be back long before that. And if not, then the baseball gods hate me. And
there you go.
So what?
Little mix and match. I want to throw some change ups in there and see your thoughts. All right. That is, let's do it one more time. Deal
Yay,
or no deal?
Copyright infringement.
Well done.
Awesome.
Gentlemen, I appreciate your thoughts. That was pretty good.
No, that was outstanding. And this show is brought to you by Jason Drinking More Vodka. This is from Kirkland. They don't sponsor us, but this is delicious. Just so you know. Drew Cordola, friend of the show. This one's for you.
They make golf balls too, Jason. Kirkland.
I also have those.
Yeah.
I have less because I usually lose them all when I play. But that's okay. Okay. This next segment we have here, just real quickly, it's NBA. We don't normally talk a lot of NBA. But LeBron James, he found a new home, guys, and surprised the hell out of me. But it actually, the more I look at it, doesn't surprise me. But he is coming back to the East Coast. I actually thought there was a chance he would be a Washington Wizard, which would have been interesting. But he signed a deal for 2 years with the Philadelphia 76ers. No surprise, Jaylen Brown. Who's the big fella?
Joel Embiid.
Yeah, Embiid. If he can stay on the court, and that's a nice 3 guys there. However, I do think this has a lot to do with coming to the East and having an easier way into the finals than it was going out West and getting beat up every night by superior teams for the most part. Mike, is him signing in Philadelphia a factor or a non-factor for the 76ers?
It has very Fresh Prince of Bel Air kind of feel to it. I mean, you're talking about getting beat up, right? And then you're going from Bel Air over to West Philadelphia. It's like a reverse thing going on. Like, I don't know. Um, the Sixers are an automatic contender now. I'd say they're top 3 maybe in the East. You can't count the Knicks out. They've got good mojo going. I'm curious what the Heat look like with Giannis there now. I think they have a chance to contend because Giannis is just that kind of player who raises the level of his entire team. And then I don't think you can. I'm curious about the Wizards. I don't think they're necessarily a contender, but I definitely think they're better. But I'd say if I'm talking about pecking order, I would say you would look at the Knicks and they would have to Celtics and then maybe Sixers, like right in that range. John, what are your thoughts?
That's kind of what I would say too, Mike. Is the Knicks are by far the best team in the East. You know, and then you got the kind of jumble after that. You got the Celtics, you got the Heat. Now you got the 76ers. But the thing is LeBron's 41, and at what point, we all saw Michael when he played for the Wizards. It wasn't Michael who played for the Bulls. And LeBron, I think he went to a team where the two things I was thinking of when he made this deal was, number one, obviously the East is a little bit easier to get through, but the Knicks are a juggernaut. But then two is he's surrounded with a lot more high profile players on the Sixers with Joel Embiid and the others, that he's not gonna have to shoulder all the minutes. He's not gonna have to shoulder all the things that he was having to shoulder in Los Angeles. So I think for him, I always thought he's going to go, if he's going to continue to play, he's going to go to a team that already has two superstars and he can kind of ride off into the sunset. And I think the 76ers are kind of that perfect mix of everything that he was looking for.
I think we're forgetting too that the best team in the East last year were the Detroit Pistons too, and they are bringing back pretty much the same team. They were the 1 seed last year. The Knicks won it as a 3 seed, and a lot of things fell into place during that whole thing, right? I mean, once you get to the playoffs, anything can happen. I mean, we've had 8 seeds beating the 1 seeds, seeds going to the finals with the Knicks, the one year with Larry Johnson and Spreewell and all those guys, and Allen Houston. But it's to me, it comes down. Is it a factor? Absolutely. Um, will they make the playoffs? Sure. I think the Wizards. I think the Wizards make the playoffs. I think they make the playoffs comfortably this year. I mean, they have one of the best rosters, potential best rosters. If everyone stays healthy, be just fine. I mean, the Hawks are good. You have, I mean, the uh, the Cavs. We forgot about the Cavs too. They're right in there. Celtics still. It's and then the West is the West. It's a dominant group. So to me, I mean, yeah, it makes it a lot more interesting. Does it make them the favorites? I don't know. It makes them contenders for sure. And it should be very interesting. I don't care what the man does, whatever he wants to do. I don't judge. I mean, look, it doesn't matter to me. The difference between Michael, John, and him at this point is he has not taken any time off of basketball. So he's still at the top of his game from what that is right now. Michael had to ramp it all back up again, and he still made an all-star team all the way. He still played 82 games his final season. Okay, so that is every single game. LeBron hasn't played every single game for a very long time, but LeBron is also still he's on the top half of the guys in the league as far as I'm concerned. So should be at least very interesting. Did want to at least mention that because it's a big part of news and whatnot of what's going on. Speaking of news, fellas, and the Baltimore Ravens have a brand new wide receiver, John. You were clamoring for it. You were happy. You wanted this guy. Not so much. You had no idea he was even here. They had an open tryout. You thought they were bringing back DeAndre Hopkins, and they end up signing a former Raven, Chris Moore to the flock, John?
I mean, I figured they were. We talked about this the other day
He can't contain his excitement.
that they're going to bring in another wide receiver, a veteran. And we talked about this last time. Is there room on the 52 man roster for another veteran wide receiver, or is this wide receiver just going to be in training camp to take snaps in the preseason games so that we can prevent injuries and things like that. That's kind of what we talked about last time. And I mean, it's a Ravens move. They bring back, it seems like we always somehow bring back guys who have been successful here before and have fit the mold and fit the locker room and fit the castle culture and things. So, you know, does he make the roster? I don't know if there's a great chance that he does, but it's good body for training camp, and then some of these younger guys definitely can learn some stuff from him, and he can still play. It's not like he's in a wheelchair or he's crippled or something.
9 years in the league, pretty decent everywhere he's gone. I mean, not a standout guy, right? Plays special teams, plays on the field. He is now the number 7 wide receiver. Mike, come week 1, is he on the roster?
Not if your young guys perform the way they're supposed to. So, like, I think it doesn't move the needle for me at all. To me, it's a move to just give you some depth in case somebody gets hurt, or your young guys underperform. He's got a high floor. He's a high floor player. He's not a high ceiling player. And I think you're hoping that Surratt, you're hoping that Lane, one of those guys can give you more. Tez Walker can step up. And if he is making this team, then I'm concerned about what we did in the draft, like or what happened with injuries, because unless that happens, this guy is. I mean, he's a few hundred yards and a couple touchdowns a year. I mean, very very average NFL wide receiver, especially 9 years into his career. I'm not trying to slight Chris Moore. It's just not moving the needle for me. A guy like Diggs would move the needle for me if you wanted to move the needle. But I think the Ravens really want to see what they have with these young guys. And I'm excited to see what they have. Every time it seems like they get 2 players of the same position, like the tight ends, one of them seems to at least step up and do something. And a lot of times it's the second guy drafted. So I'm wondering if Surratt's the guy who becomes the main man.
Yeah, and I mean, one plays in the slot, one plays out on the edge or on the side. But it's to me, it's a non-factor. They weren't looking for a guy. According all reports say they had zero interest in Diggs, and I'm fine with that. Look, I mean, Surratt, from everything I heard coming out of like all the guys I listened to for fantasy football and all the insiders on the Ravens, that they could have found something pretty special there. And then Lane is a big body guy that they have been missing for years. And then Walker's a burner. And you know who they're the highest on? Like some of them, like DeAndre Hopkins said this is Wester. Like, I mean, that could be a guy they want to get involved in a lot of stuff. And I mean, he's your special teams guy too. So he could have, to me, if they felt like they needed somebody, I'm willing to put all of my confidence in this coaching staff because they went out and they made these decisions that they didn't need to go out and trade for wide receivers or take one early in the draft. So I'm okay with it. I'm willing to pardon me, give them the benefit of the doubt for right now.
Yeah, and if Stephon Diggs makes this team, he's not playing special teams. Like Chris Moore can, maybe they see a need there and he can help in that area if he needs to make the roster. Whereas one of those, maybe the younger guys aren't doing what they're missing assignments. They're not doing what they're supposed to do. And you can't be a Super Bowl contender if you don't have solid special teams. So that's another piece to this.
And
Yeah.
Matabike, according to reports, has been cleared by doctors. He's on the pup list, him and Teddy and a few others, but they can come off the pup list. And they said he should be back in practice in about 2 weeks or so.
Yeah, I mean, and that would be big for them. I mean, to be able to get that push up front still again, and then Buchanan again, Mike, if he can come back like he did last year, I mean, that solves a lot of the problems that you didn't go out and get additions for. So, again, what I've been saying since before the draft, get to the quarterback with 4. If you can get to the quarterback with 4, great things can happen. It's why Seattle won a Super Bowl. So I mean, you guys have anything else as far as the Ravens go?
I'm excited about that D line. If Matabike comes back, you have Matabike, you have Calais Campbell. If Jenkins gets healthy, I mean, you've got Travis Jones. That's a ton of rotational pieces that can keep guys off Teddy Buchanan and keep guys off the linebacking core. I'm excited if they can get healthy.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that is the key word that you said, Mike, healthy. That's what I want during this entire training camp. And we'll see. John Harbaugh always was good. I blame John, but his guys were always good for a couple real big injuries. I mean, a lot of organizations are that way. I'm just hoping that we turn a corner as far as that goes. But we'll see. We'll see.
Mike, was
He's
that
with the New York Giants. He's with the New York Giants.
New York Football Giants, Mike.
Did you see that clip?
I did. I heard. I'm just whatever.
Mike, was that supposed to be a joke about a ton?
No, it's just fleeting.
Well, it literally is a ton of.
All right. So we're going to stay on cue here as we're trying to practice to get to around an hour. I'm not sure if we're going to do that because I have a new fun, what do I want to call it? Situation, experience, experiment, whatever. Okay. The court is now in session, fellows. The Honorable Judge Jason is here to preside over this courtroom. John, if you want me to side with you, this is really not a good way to start. That's all I got to say. So the way that this new segment is going to work is I have my 2 lawyers here. Believe it or not, I mean, John did something useful with his life here. But John and Mike, and I'm going to give them 2 situations, and they are going to convince me, Your Honor, of why I should believe in their theories. So we're going to start with John. You go first on this one. I'm going to ask them several situations or questions, and they're going to tell me their answer. So, John, the best off-season Ravens acquisition, trade, or free agent of all time, and why?
The best free agent acquisition was by far none other than Shannon Sharp. Shannon Sharp brought playmaking ability, brought veteran leadership to that team on an offense that was not good and still was not good for that Super Bowl season. But Shannon Sharp brought all the leadership and became obviously he's a Hall of Famer. So he was a target for Dilfer. He was, between him and Jamal Lewis, they were the only 2 bright spots really on that entire offense. So I'm going to say if without Shannon Sharp on the Baltimore Ravens, the Baltimore Ravens do not win a Super Bowl in 2000.
Mike, rebuttal.
Yeah, he's okay, that Shannon Sharp fella. I like Rod Woodson. Rod Woodson, defensive back, cornerback turned safety for that Baltimore Ravens Super Bowl team in 2000. When he came to the Ravens, he kind of changed the identity of the franchise. The defense became something to be worried about. Obviously, you have Ray Lewis and those guys as well, but he gave them a Hall of Fame presence in that secondary. It's something that they didn't have prior to that. And he recorded 20 interceptions, led them to Super Bowl 35. He provided, leadership, was a mentor, but he was really still a Pro Bowl caliber player. And that's the big thing that people forget. Like, he was the end of the back end. And without him, they don't win Super Bowl 35. There's no way.
Very good arguments on both of you. I am, however, going to agree with Mike. Mike made the best argument for Rod Woodson, giving me all of his Hall of Fame stats. As also, John, your feller, was also a Hall of Famer, but yet to express that to me in the details that Mike did. Do not give me that look or I will hold you in contempt. That means prison, John. And with your pretty face, you won't do so well there. Okay. So, Mike, I also happen to agree Rod Woodson is probably my favorite and best acquisition at this point. All right. And also, John, I'm sorry, the fact that it was the best defense statistically of all time by adding a guy that just, again, by the time they even got rid of him, was still a all-pro player is tough to live up to there. So nice try. Okay. Second, best Orioles trade or free agency of our lifetime, though. Mike, I'll let you go first on this one, but it cannot be Frank Robinson joining the Orioles. It has to be something within our lifetime. So tell me who your feller is. Make your case.
One, Roberto Alomar. I know that he spit in some guy's face, right? Was that John Hirschbeck? Who was that? He spit in someone's face.
Kent Hirschbeck.
One of the not Ken Hirschbeck, John Hirschbeck.
It's John Hirschbeck. Yeah.
John, you're not helping yourself. Quiet down over there. It's not your turn.
Yeah, that John Hirschbeck may not agree with me, but if you watch the Baltimore Orioles between 1996 and 1998, I'm pretty sure you might agree with me. Roberto Alomar could do it all. He could bat 1 through 9, and he could do whatever job was needed for that Baltimore Orioles team. But he could get on base. He had 3 All-Star selections, 3 Gold Gloves in 3 seasons. I mean, he hit 300, 391, 459 slash line as an Oriole. That's ridiculous. Helped lead the Baltimore Orioles to back-to-back ALCS appearances. And, they should have won a freaking World Series, but they didn't. And that was, in my high school days. But anyway, Roberto Alomar, defense, base running, intangibles, the whole package, hitting. You got it all.
John?
I'm going to say in my lifetime, the best Orioles trade. It was hard between two. But I'm going to go
it's either trade or acquisition.
Right, acquisition. John. Acquisition was Mike Boddicker being traded to the Boston Red Sox for Brady Anderson and Curt Schilling. I mean, Brady Anderson was in Baltimore from 89 through 2001. Through all those playoff seasons, he patrolled center field, hit leadoff. Had the 50 home run season. I mean, he was hitting consistently around 300 every year with an on base percentage of almost or above 400 every year out of the leadoff spot. So he was giving you production in terms of home runs, but also he was averaging 20 stolen bases a year, 30 home runs a year, plus playing good defense in center field. So he was the guy who would start that Orioles offense in the playoff years of 90, 95, and 96. And without him, the Orioles teams are very, very different.
Around 300 batting average, 256
pipe it down over there.
Average.
Pipe it down over there. Hey, I will hold you in contempt. You listen to me. Okay. John, they did not make the playoffs in 95. They made the playoffs in 96 and 97.
96, 97, yes.
And you said all those playoff years. That's only 2. Unfortunately, John, he was also there during a lot of losing. And Roberto Alomar was kind of the missing piece that they needed there. And not only was he a missing piece, but he's also a Hall of Famer. As per our last discussion, whenever you can add a Hall of Famer into the fold, it is a huge game changer. And I'm sure if you guys looked up that contract, it's ridiculous. It costs nothing to bring in somebody like Roberto Alomar. So, and unfortunately, in that trade that you had mentioned with Curt Schilling, though, it did not. Curt Schilling was not even an Oriole very long. They traded him for nothing, unfortunately. Don't want to rehash the Glenn Davis thing. But I'm siding with Mike. Mike made the best case. Again, Roberto Alomar by far is the right answer. It's actually the one I was thinking. Either him or Rafael Palmeiro would have been acceptable to my eyes. But yet you went with Brady Anderson. Nice try, though.
John, he had 3 All-Star appearances in his career. Alomar had 3 All-Star appearances in the 3 seasons he was in Baltimore.
Yeah. Well, I couldn't use Alomar, so the other one I was going to use was The other one I was going to use was Nelson Cruz.
I like
Ooh,
Nelly
would have been
Cruz. I like
interesting.
that one.
Yeah.
I like
Mike
that
might
one.
have had the edge though because Roberto
Yeah.
Alomar was here for 3 years.
Right. Cruz was
And
just here
but
that 1 year.
Rafael Palmeiro would have been a tough one for me though because he's at 500 home runs, 3,000 hits.
Well, could I have done Eddie Murray? Because Eddie Murray
That would have been
Came-
your lifetime.
came back.
Okay, but that was for like half a season. He came over in the trade deadline, so that would not have been right. No.
But he's a Hall of Famer. 500
He was
home runs.
But he was not. He was not putting up,
3,000 hits.
but did not put up the majority of those numbers in the 1996. I think he hit 20 home runs and batted like 260. All right, enough. I've allowed enough banter here in my courtroom. The next one, I would like to know, and I believe this one is John's turn, the best meal of all time and why. This is Dad Bods. I want to know how you got that Dad Bod.
Well, the best meal of all time would be a medium rare New York strip steak with a loaded baked potato with the crab dip on top with a butter and sour cream in the potato, and then the crab dip on the top, and then a nice like Oreo cheesecake for dessert with and then also with the dinner asparagus with air fried with olive oil and salt on the asparagus.
Is the crab dip on the steak or on the potato?
On the potato.
Okay, fair
on
enough.
the potato. I don't like things. I like to season my steak and get it good, and then put toppings on my potato.
Outstanding. Michael?
Yeah, I'm gonna start with these barbecue bacon wrapped shrimp I got at Harrison's Harbor Watch down in Ocean City. Like they are freaking amazing. So that, and I think they have some basil wrapped in them. They're delicious. Go with that to start off. Give me a cup of cream of crab soup after that, and then I'm gonna go with the main entree is going to be a surf and turf. I'm gonna go with a stuffed shrimp with crab imperial, and then a filet mignon cooked medium rare. And I'm gonna put salt all over that bad boy to make sure my blood pressure rises. I'm gonna go with as far as sides are concerned, I like the almondine green beans with the bacon and the almonds in them because I love bacon. Let's just keep that coming. And let's go with some type of delicious buttery mashed potato. I'm gonna have that as well. For dessert, nothing better than the molten lava cake from Chili's, where they got the chocolate with the ice cream on top, and then the candy syrup kind of thing, the chocolate that goes over top of that bad boy. And if I'm still hungry, I'll eat another apple pie with ice cream, a little a la mode vanilla ice cream. So that's where I'm going.
Oh, man.
Have you been on a Carnival cruise, Mike? You ever been on a Carnival cruise and had a
Please say
Carnival melting?
no. Please
The
say
Carnival,
no.
the Carnival melting cake. It's a chocolate cake, just like the Chili's, except it tastes better.
All right. First of all, if you have any self-respect for yourself, you'll never go on a Carnival cruise ever again.
Oh, I do all the time, man. They're
Oh
free.
my God.
They don't cost anything. So
I
why
spent
would
enough time at a carnival as a kid because my parents were carnies, so I'm good with the carnivals.
All the YouTube videos and stuff I've seen on there, it's a carnival, all right. Oh my. All right. Well, before I get thrown off the air for the rest of my life, man, this is a tough one though. I actually, yeah. I mean, I love it. I like them both. I do. I think Mike had me at stuffed shrimp though, because he still had the steak. See, but then John had the. See, I'm not a huge New York strip, but I'm not a huge filet mignon. Like either go ribeye or prime rib. I mean, can I call it a draw? How do you do that? Do we throw it out? We just throw this one out? Like, How you do that? What do they call that in the courtrooms? I should know this. I'm a judge, but oh, I don't know. With that
Hung
no
jury.
contest,
Hung
hung
jury.
jury.
Hung
But there is no
jury.
jury. It's just me. I don't know. Whatever
Hungry
it is.
jury.
You're the judge,
I'm just
jury,
gonna
and
tell you,
executioner.
I
It's a
can't.
hungry jury, John. We're all hungry after we just talked about that.
Yeah. Man, I don't eat dessert very often, so I wouldn't know. But man, you guys both make good cases. I'm going to give you both the win on this one. Yeah, congratulations, guys. Yeah, John, you did not get the poopy on that one. I will tell you, fried chicken. Fried chicken is the greatest. Like, I'm sorry, it's like I don't get to eat that. I bear maybe once a year, but like fried chicken, crab imperial, or crab cakes, fried chicken. Like, yep, that's me.
Have you
Love it.
had that Maryland fried chicken place? Have you seen those?
Mm-mm.
They're all over the place around here. I've never eaten there. It's called
I just don't
Maryland
remember
Fried
Maryland
Chicken.
being famous for fried chicken.
Well, Royal
Like,
Farms
oh,
has
give me
that
a
good
break.
fried chicken, but
The best fried chicken is at the Mount Airy Carnival that I used to go to as a
Mm.
kid. The Mount Airy Lions Club, whatever you get. Shout out to you guys. Best fried chicken ever.
Oh, fantastic!
Publix fried chicken is pretty good. You
I'll
go
get
in and
that.
grab a 10 pack of it. When Jess is out of the house, that's what Jason eats.
No, Jason does not. It's been a long time since I had fried chicken. All right, I was gonna ask one of these one question, but I think I'm gonna tell me, and Mike, you go first. The best place that you have ever had a crab cake. Who does the best
Oh
crab
man.
cake?
Okay. There are two that come right to mind, but I guess I have to narrow. I won't. I don't want to mention names in case John has one of them. But there's a place on Eastern Avenue in Baltimore called By the Docks, and they have these. It's the size of the crab cake. It's like it is. Take your fist and then put another fist around it, and that's about the size of this crab cake. And there's no filler in it. It's all lump crab meat. It's got like that creamy texture, which I kind of like. It's almost a mayonnaise based texture, but it's got all the right seasoning in there. It's just got all the right vibes of a Maryland crab cake. No pimento, no those down south crab cakes that you guys have down in Florida. None of that crap.
John?
So I get stuck on this one because my mom makes a pretty good crab cake at home at her house. She doesn't like seafood, doesn't like shellfish, but she makes a really mean crab cake. But then Jimmy's is very very tasty. Nick, my friend Nick down here makes them the same with the same recipe, same way, and they're size larger than hockey pucks, and then good size and full of Old Bay and that just rich Maryland flavor from the Old Bay and you know blue crabs and everything.
I have had both of them. So you both make good arguments. Actually, my wife probably makes pretty good crab cakes as far as to stand up to all of those places. Mainly because like when we buy our own crab meat, she can make the size. So like I can have as much crab as I want, right? Like I'm not paying for all that. However, I'm gonna have to go with Mike. By the Docks has been one of my favorite ones of all time. However, you are both incorrect because Friendly Farms has the greatest crab cake in the history that I've ever had. It is the best. I love it. My favorite by far. Um, but very good arguments. Um, last thing, and Mike, did you go first this time, Mike? You went second.
I went first.
You went
this
first.
last time.
Okay. I want to know the number one thing your children could do, John, to make you the proudest dad on the planet.
The number one thing my children could do. Huh. To make me the proudest dad on the planet. There's so many things. So many things. But I think the proudest thing I would do is I don't know. Never thought about that, Jason. That's a that's a tricky question because there's many ways to spin this. Spin this. Um,
Counselor, Get to your point, counselor.
So I think that would make me the proudest would be if when they grow up and graduate from high school that they go and do what they want to do, something that they love and that I know that will make them happy. Whether that's go to college, whether that's go into the military, whether that's go to the workforce, something that's fulfilling for their life, not my life, but their life. Let them live their life and make sure that they're happy.
Mike?
That's a tough question. That's um
Jason's
yeah.
gonna save this and replay this to our kids like later on, so then we.
I mean, they don't have to do anything for me to be proud of them. First of all, I mean, just being alive and just being part of it's just the kids are amazing. Yeah, just amazing. I'm so lucky to have my kids. But I'd say I'm most proud usually when they do something where they know it's the right thing to do, regardless of the situation, and even when other people aren't necessarily doing the right thing. That always makes me really happy as a dad. And I would say additionally when they stand up for each other to somebody else, like when my daughter sticks up for my son or when my son sticks up for my daughter or my wife, like that always makes me super happy. So I'd say those things are things that come to mind.
Unless you two said knock off the local bank, beat someone up, or make $1 million and push people around so it didn't matter. There was no wrong answer. Good for you two. Congratulations. Give yourselves all a round of applause. You are both terrific fathers. Congratulations. All right. Well, that is the so John, you won two. Congrats. But both those wins were ties. So take that as you must.
It's like
So you didn't
kissing your
lose two.
sister.
Well done.
Yeah.
Wouldn't know anything about that. Don't have one, but that's okay.
Do you have a sister, John?
He does.
I do have a sister.
Oh, sorry, buddy.
Creepy.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that is about to wrap things up here with us. I do have a big announcement for everyone. I actually have multiples, but I can only share one with you all right now. We have a lot of things in the works here, but one thing I can officially say is either starting this week or next week, we do have to finalize some dates. We are introducing a new show to the Dad Bod franchise, and that is going to be a Dad Bod fantasy football show hosted by yours truly, Mike, and also our friend Colin. And John will be a special guest periodically as we go through, as he learns to be able to focus on fantasy. Because I really just don't want to hear John say, I didn't have time to do this, guys. I'm very busy. I don't have time for your dumb games. So, John, your homework is to get up to date so you may join us on the show. But we will be doing that. It's going to be on Friday nights. But I will have a more specific schedule for you. We're going to post it on Facebook. And then again, we have some hopefully big news in the hopper coming forward. But that is all the news I can currently share. Mike, John, do you guys have anything else you'd like to add?
Nope.
No,
I'm
just
ready for bed.
oh, John's tired. Sorry, John. Didn't mean to interrupt. I was just going to say I appreciate everybody tuning in, and we're back up and rolling, and expect more content here over the next few weeks as we get our engine running again. We're excited to talk sports. It's a lot of fun doing it with you guys.
Yes, and we hope here coming up we'll have some more special guests. I have a couple things going. It's life has seemed to get in the way for all of us for the last few months, so we are now, like Mike said, back up and rolling, and hopefully we can be of service to you all, your fantasy football leagues, your just to get your daily sports content, etc. So, John, where can they find us? Where do they need to like us and all that fun stuff?
You need to like and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and then on anywhere you get your podcasts, Apple, Spotify, iHeartMedia, any of those places. Also, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can see our smiling faces if you'd rather watch the video version of this podcast. And as we continue to ramp some things up, we're going to get some videos and some other things going on in here. We got a lot of fun stuff in the works, so please make sure you like, follow, share, and subscribe if you care about Baltimore sports, football, baseball, anything. We have fun here a couple nights a week, and appreciate everybody. Yes, Mike, you have your hand raised.
Yeah, so I just was reminded of one of my favorite shows, The Office. Have you ever seen the show The Office?
Oh, I love it.
Michael Scott was asked, "Do you want to be feared or do you want to be loved?" And he said, "I want people to be afraid of how much they love me." And that is what we want for you from our Dad Bods, Crab Cakes, and Sports listeners.
Fan freaking
There's
tastic.
another copyright issue.
Oh my gosh, Mike, that's 2 in one show. Great. Well, it's been a great run, everyone. Thank you for listening to us while you could. No, it's all good. All right. So for Mike Frisky and John Lanscraner, I'm Jason Weisbecker. You all have a great evening, and we'll talk to you next time.
Don't forget to subscribe to Dad Bods, Crab Cakes, and Sports on Red Circle, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon, or wherever you get your free podcasts. And while you're at it, leave us a review. It really helps us out. We're trying to spread the good word about Baltimore sports far and wide. Follow us on social media for more behind-the-scenes actions, memes, and bad sports takes. You can find us at Dad Bods, Crab Cakes, and Sports on Instagram, and Dad Bods, Crab Cakes, and Sports on our Facebook page. Until next time, keep rocking those dad bods, eating those crab cakes, and never miss the game.